Hi guys, how are you doing? This is Sebastian from Tech Century and welcome to my 2-year long-term review of the Apple Quad-Core Mac Pro. So this is a follow-up review. I actually already did a review of this Mac Pro around 1.5 years ago, and this is also where I got into, for example, the benchmark results and things like that. This video is over 70 minutes long and I'll leave it in the links below. But this time it's just a follow-up to see if I'm still satisfied with the Mac Pro after over 2 years and if it's still worth to purchase, especially the Quad-Core Mac Pro, despite the fact that Apple still hasn't updated the components and that the price is still pretty high at around $3,000 or 3,000 euros. So the configuration that I'm talking about here is the standard configuration that offers a 3.7 GHz Quad-Core Intel Xeon E5 processor, stock 12 GB of DDR3 RAM, as well as two AMD FirePro D300 cards with 2 GB of video RAM each, as well as then also a 256 GB SSD. Now the only modification that I actually made to this Mac Pro is the fact that I upgraded the RAM to 16 GB, but except for that, it's still the stock configuration. So getting straight into the performance of the Mac Pro over the past 2 years, I have to say that I'm still very impressed. During these 2 years, I edited over 100 or 200 4K videos here for YouTube on this machine with the quad-core processor, and it never felt slow. And that being said, it not only handled a single 4K stream flawlessly, but also dual 4K streams. Now I also want to mention that I used the Panasonic FZ1000 as well as the Sony AX100 as 4K cameras, and therefore this is not comparable, for example, if you're using a Sony FS7, but for those prosumer cameras, the performance of the Mac Pro with the quad-core processor and the D300 graphics card is definitely more than good enough. The biggest downfall for me of this quad-core Mac Pro is the very limited internal storage, especially when working with 4K files. Now of course there is a relatively simple and also affordable solution, and that's just to get an external USB 3 SSD, and that's also what I'm going to do. But I wish that there would be a solution to just add more internal storage. Just as important as performance is also reliability, at least for me, because I make some of my money using this Mac Pro, and therefore I can't have a machine that's unreliable. Fortunately, I didn't have a single issue with the Mac Pro in the past 2 years while I used the machine every day and while I edited hundreds of 4K videos, so I'm very impressed. And in terms of reliability, I'm pretty confident that there's nothing that comes close, and I'm really satisfied with it, and this also justifies the high price of the Mac Pro for me. Despite its small size, I have to say I'm still blown away by the design of the cooling of this Mac Pro, because despite the fact that I'm editing or even rendering 4K footage from 2 different cameras, this Mac Pro stays virtually silent, and this is a big advantage over other Macs, for example like the iMac with Retina display that I'm actually using at work with a 4.0 GHz Intel Core i7 processor. Once I even start to render any 4K video, this iMac just gets incredibly loud and it's really obnoxious, and the Mac Pro is cooled so well that it barely even gets any louder than an idle, so that's a big advantage and something that I'm still impressed of here with this Mac Pro. So while I've already mentioned some of the key benefits of this Mac Pro, like the performance, reliability, size and cooling, there's one major advantage over other systems like the iMac with Retina display that really make the Mac Pro stand out, and that's the flexibility. By this flexibility, I mean that the Mac Pro has 6 Thunderbolt 2 ports that allow you to hook up 6 monitors, 3 4K displays, or even 3 4K plus 3 WQHD monitors. So it's just insane what kind of monitors the Mac Pro supports. That being said, I wouldn't recommend to use 1 or even 3 4K monitors unless you have a higher spec configuration here of this Mac Pro, because I use the Quad-Core Mac Pro with one 4K display by Dell and the performance definitely slowed down. So if you're looking into just using a 4K display or multiple 4K displays with your Mac Pro, definitely make sure to get a better processor as well as also better graphic cards. And this monitor aspect is also one of my favorite aspects about the Mac Pro. There was a time when I actually had 3 full HD monitors connected to the Mac Pro as well as a 50-inch full HD TV and then another 4K monitor. And this is something that's not possible on any other machine or any other Mac, I should say. So let's move on to my verdict. And I have to say that purchasing the Mac Pro 2 years ago was one of the best decisions that I ever made, because I'm still very satisfied with the machine. It never let me down and still handles everything that I throw at it absolutely flawlessly. Now, should you now in 2016 buy the Quad-Core Mac Pro? That's a tough decision to make and something that I can't really answer, because while I think that the performance, reliability, cooling and flexibility are big benefits, in terms of performance, the Mac Pro isn't really any better than, for example, a high-end iMac with Retina display. And the fact that Apple didn't upgrade the machine in the last 2 years is also, of course, a big downfall. So in the end, you have to make the decision. I'm very happy with my Mac Pro and I would probably still purchase this machine now in 2016. But of course, it leaves a bitter taste in the mouth that there were no upgrades at all in the past 2 years. And this is certainly something where we have to put shame on Apple, because they really just don't seem to care about the Mac Pro anymore. They gave us this really nice new Mac Pro 2 years ago, but ever since then, it seems like they lost all interest. So anyways, this is the end of this video. I hope that you guys enjoyed it. Let me know what you think of the Mac Pro and this review in the comment section down below. Do you think a different machine would be a better purchase? I'm really eager to hear what you guys have to say. Like the video if you enjoyed it, and also make sure to subscribe to the channel for many more reviews. Thanks for watching.